Good afternoon, my comrades, and welcome to the 2021 Hyundai Veloster N 6-speed manual. That's right, not the DSG. That's a good car. I've driven that so far this year, and it's fast and fun, but nothing beats a good old-fashioned 3 pedals and a stick. And I'm here to tell you why this is the better of the two Velosters. Quick note about my experience with the Hyundai Veloster, and I've actually tested it before. I've tested the when the year came out, 2019. Weirdly, Hyundai gave me it again in 2020, but it worked out really well because I was able to do a nice video for the Winding Road YouTube channel with that. And now I've got the new, slightly revised 2021 model here in a 6-speed manual, and I'm here to tell you that there are some differences. Very minor, but they are there. And one thing that's for certain, though, is it is still the same amount of amazing fun. You cannot get this much fun, this many grins inside of like a mile of meandering, fun, twisty tarmac with any other car for this price or lower. I mean, maybe maybe GTI, but I mean, this thing is a torque monster. It makes all the right noises. It handles well. It's got great steering. Suspension is really stiff, which you can soften up a little bit. And yeah, just for $35,000, this thing is so fun. This thing is the pinnacle of smiles per gallon. So let's get right to it and talk about those fun aspects of the Hyundai Veloster N here. So first and foremost, the dampers. They're very stiff in N mode. They loosen up quite a bit depending on what mode you're in, but if you're in the selected N mode, they're pretty rough. Like, this is a pretty smooth stretch of road right here, and I'm really feeling everything in the road. However, once you go over to N custom mode, when you tap via this button, you can configure a custom mode that can kind of loosen up the dampers a little bit. You can alter all the various settings in N mode to be what you want them to be. So, you could have the engine still be nice and enthusiastic, but maybe don't want all the burbles and crackles. The electronic limited slip differential won't bite as hard, and you feel that for sure when you turn everything off and then you're kind of going through a long sweeper with your foot in it as much as you can while turning. You start to feel the LSD come in and intervene and try to pull you out more, and also in low speed stuff for sure. Yeah, you can soften up the dampers, of course. I think that's probably the if I were to venture a guess, I would say that's the most common thing that people adjust in their N custom mode. However, you've got 3 other modes. You've got normal, which it's fine for driving on the street. It's it has a little bit of pep to it, but doesn't. I don't know. I don't really use N mode. As soon as I turn this thing on, I go to sport mode. Sport mode is what I kind of use the most. It's the friendliest on the street. It's still got plenty of enthusiasm in the exhaust note and throttle response, and in the in the dampers. The dampers aren't super stiff, but they feel sporty. One mode I definitely avoid is eco mode, which, frankly, unless you're on a straight, boring piece of highway somewhere, just, on a road trip, I don't see the use for this mode. I wouldn't even drive this around town. It just wouldn't feel right, because, I mean, this is it is a quintessential hot hatch. This is not, I don't know. I'd want to spend as little time in that mode as possible if this were my car, and I have been in this press car. I've had it for the past 4 days or so, and it's been a riot. So anyway, let's talk about the engine. 275 horsepower, 260 pound-feet of torque. That's a lot via this 2-liter inline-4. It has a twin-scroll turbocharger, so you get it minimizes lag, makes it more efficient. Although this thing does still have a little bit of turbo lag, and I kind of like that about it. The turbo lag is kind of endearing in my book. You feel when you put your foot down, you start to feel that surge, and you start to get pushed back, and I don't know, I kind of dig it. I like a little bit of turbo lag, and this one has it, and it's a good amount. I know that everyone wants torque at 1200 RPMs and wants to just set off, and that's fun and all, but I don't know, I like turbo lag. It gives it more character. So let's take a turn down here. Oh yeah, really good brakes. We'll get to those later. Yeah, 0 to 60, 5.2 seconds or something like that, maybe faster. If I recall, maybe mid-5s. I don't know. I'll probably put that in the video later once I figure out the right figure there. But yeah, it's very fast, and again, revving through the gears especially just like launching this thing here. Let me put it in N. This is a nice, fairly straight piece of tarmac here. And let me just show you what that's like. Oh yeah. You always trip second when you do a launch like that. Yeah, pretty damn fast. Lots of fun. Oh man, and luckily you do have the brakes. Look at that. Oh yeah. Yeah, luckily you do have the brakes to to quickly scrub away some potentially bad decisions. So yeah, this thing is just, it's so fun to, you know, just rev it up to like 4,200 RPM because it's got a lot of torque, and there's a little bit of turbo lag, but you feel that torque really down low, and this thing is just so fun around town to just kind of jump between lights, you know, rev past idiots on the freeway or the highway, depending upon where you live in this country. Yeah, it's just an all-around ride in that regard. You know, the power this thing has, you know, they say 275. I'm wondering if they're doing the BMW thing where it's 275 wheel instead of 275 crank. You know, most manufacturers advertise crank, but this thing feels really fast. It's got to be more than that. Who knows? Well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe indeed, you know, that's accurate. And this thing, in its 3,100 pound weight, you know, 275, but at the same time, it feels more lively and, I don't know, a little bit faster than the Honda Civic Type R. The DCT one, that of course is faster, you know, because it's a dual clutch for crying out loud. But man, it feels faster than the Honda Civic Type R. Although, yeah, it's been a good 6 months since I've driven Honda Civic Type R. Moving on, let's talk about, well, the interior. So, we've got, again, buttons here to configure your modes very quickly. I definitely appreciate that. Very driver-centric. The steering wheel is a nice sports steering wheel. You've got a nice clear, this is a bigger screen, I believe, compared to 2020. And yeah, just, I'd say on average, a good all-around interior. You know, you've got hard plastics pretty much everywhere, but the main touch points that you, well, touch, steering wheel, the shifter feels nice, it's very substantial, it's got good weight to it. I'll get to that a little bit later when I talk about the transmission. The shift boot, you know, opening the door, things like that, you know, stuff that you touch the most, it really doesn't, it feels good. I don't know, there's a lot of hard, stiff plastic, but I don't know, it's pretty substantial stiff plastic. Honda Civic Type R does have it beat there. It has a little bit nicer interior, but not by much. The thing I wanted to point out, though, for sure, really quick, let's see here. In fact, I'll use this opportunity to be able to get out and talk about this thing as well. Oh yeah. Hopefully I don't slice a tire on these rocks. Okay. One thing I did want to talk about, though, is lots of touchable buttons. I really appreciate that, especially the customizable button, which the person before me, so if I go to, let's say, nav, map, the customizable button, the favorite, they made it the N mode, or at least, like, you know, the performance fun stuff. I really like that was kind of pre-programmed for me. Turn off the traction control there. Yeah, it's a good all-around place to be. Oh, for configuring those custom modes, you go in here. This was when I first drove the DCT some months ago. It was a little confusing at first because the 2020 model, it was a way different system, but this updated system, it actually, once I got used to it, it's a lot better. And so you up the intensity by like moving up and, you know, going from yellow to red, well, white for the least crazy. So steering is nice and light, but if we move it up to red, you gain a little bit of weight. I will say too, what's cool about the steering rack is that it's powered on the rack itself. It's not powered via the, you know, via like under here, like via the shaft, you know, going into the steering rack. And because of that, you get a little bit better feel, and it just all around, it's a great feeling steering rack. I really like that. Like all Hyundais, it makes that annoying noise when you get out when it's running. I do have the key in my pocket. But it would suck to get stuck outside of a running Veloster N in the middle of Angeles Forest and do a cell service. I kind of just went ahead and jumped right into the exterior of this thing because why not? I love the look, and I love the four-door hatch thing. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4. Not a 3-door, not a 5-door, but a 4-door. I really like that. You know, oh, it's locked. Let's unlock it. Nice, easy key fob. Oh, apparently it doesn't want to open. I think maybe the car has to be off for me to do that. Anyway, can I open the hatch at least? Oh, it'll let me out, open the hatch. Nice big hatch, but the thing about that is you've got this like area, the opening isn't that big, so it's a nice like, for cargo wise it's a great space, but the opening itself is not too ideal, so like you have to kind of lift things up and out. Not as ideal, but And then when you look at it, it's such a tiny little rear window with a little tiny rear wiper. But yeah, overall impressions, so nice. I love the way these things look. They just look so different, you know? The front end looks like it's aggressive, but, you know, I don't know, plucky. I don't really like using that word. People use that word a lot with small hatchbacks. Well, it's really small, it's 3,100 pounds, but, you know, this thing is plucky. I, of course, love this spoiler on the back. It just balances out the rear end way better than otherwise. I'm in sport mode, so I've got a really cool burbling exhaust note. Yeah, that sounds great. Let's turn this thing off so I can get in the back. That's weird. I could have sworn key not in vehicle. You don't say. All right, let's turn that off now. Maybe it'll let me get in the back seat. Oh yeah, there we go. So it's not horrendous back here per se. And I do have the passenger seat a bit far back, but you know, not the best headroom. I have to crane my head down a little bit, crane my neck, whatever, down a little bit, and it's got decent enough. Oh, there goes a C7 Corvette. Nice. You know, it's got decent enough light back here. I personally would have to like lean down quite a bit to be comfortable, and you know, that's not really long term for any kind of like road trip, but it's not bad. I'm also like awkwardly tall at 6'3" with a long torso, so I mean, it's very rare that a back seat fits me. I do the typical manual driver thing where every time like my hand goes in this area, I have to do that. I don't know, comment below if you do that as well in a manual car. I'm gonna do it again. I just did it again, just out of habit. Oh, there I go again. Anyway, a little bit more about the interior. I love the seat belts here. They look, I love the blue. I love that Hyundai N division decided to go with the blue. It's different, you know, no one else does that. Blue accents elsewhere throughout, obviously, like here, and oh, this nice blue accent here in the middle. That's really cool. So I'm kind of blending my interior and exterior stuff together. Yeah, but it's working out all right. Let's get out of this dumb normal mode and back into sport. Nice and clear. I think I've got enough room behind me, but really quickly, let's rev this thing and so that's sport. I should probably go up a little bit further where there's a nice straightaway so no one comes up behind me when I'm going really slow doing this. Now let's put it in N mode, and now let's rev it up. It's so goofy. I love it. It's so fun. It gets a little annoying after a while, but you know, it's good fun. Ooh, there we go, McLaren. Ooh, there we are. That was rad. MP4-12C. You never see those around. I don't know why. Those are kind of becoming a value. Anyway, yeah, all around, I love these cars, especially for $35,000. This thing is kind of everything. It's such a good hatchback because it's so much of what you want in a fun car. Like, it's got amazing front end grip. The thing just the suspension is excellent. The ride is well, you know, you can alter that, but you know, the thing has so much grip. It's so much fun. It's so fast. It's got all the torque. It makes all the right noises. It's got personality, you know, between the noises, between the looks, between the four-door hatch thing. It's just got personality, and I don't know, I really like that about it. It's raucous. It's pretty loud. Yeah, all around, it's just a good car. So on the suspension side of things, handling is very good. I'm not really doing it justice right now. I'm not going horrendously fast to these corners, but I mean, the front end just grips and grips and grips, especially when you have the nannies on helping you out. Like, exit speeds are so good. So like dipping in a third really quickly, accelerating through this kind of longer uphill sweeper, and it feels fine. Like, no issues. So good. There's fifth. Yeah, it moves quickly. You know, the rack feels nice. It just, you know, I'm gonna put this in my N custom mode. I have to hold it down for that because it's telling you, there we go, Yeah, because it's telling you, like, are you sure you want to turn off all the nannies? Okay, now it's in my N custom mode. It feels even better because I've got the steering nice and, like, weighted. By the way, the steering feels better. I recently had a G80 M3, you know, the new BMW M3 with the stick. This has better steering than that, I hate to say, but, you know, more on that later. I'll link below those impressions in written form when they debut. Anyway, yeah, steering is so good. It feels good on center. It's nicely weighted. It loosens up a bit in parking lots and other low speed work. Yeah, it just feels good and confident. Yeah, it never feels overpowered. It communicates a decent amount of what's going on the road. I really dig this steering. I've talked a bit about the dampers before, but I want to drive home the fact that this thing has so much cornering grip. Like, it's wild. Like, this stretch of Angeles Forest Highway, or I'm sorry, Angeles Crest Highway, it feels so confident through these, like, kind of off-camber and sometimes kind of hairy sweepers. But, you know, this thing has really good grip. You know exactly when that grip is going away, too. Like, you can hear it, you can start to feel just a tiny bit of push, you know, to kind of, you know, ease off a little bit, let it correct itself. Yeah, you kind of dip the front end in. You want to, like any front wheel drive car, you want to kind of like round out the corners as much as possible. You want to come out and then come in and then make sure you track out, you know, just to not load up too much on those front tires. And man, once you get it down, it feels so good. Like, look at this. As I'm holding like over 60 miles an hour through this is awesome. Like, so much grip, it feels so confident. These things really are so fun. And the rear end, it never does anything sketchy either. I've tried to get it to do sketchy stuff, and only if you really, really try will it start to kind of oversteer. And when it does, it's fun and it's totally manageable because this thing's got great suspension. I mean, it's got McPherson in the front, but it does have fully independent suspension in the rear. So, hey, you know, that with these ultra sticky tires, you really can't go wrong. So what do I not like about the 2021 Hyundai Veloster N? Well, it's got these new seats, which are good, but they're less tall guy friendly than the previous ones. So the previous Hyundai Veloster N, the pre-slight refresh, it had some nice, like kind of cloth seats, but still nice sporty cloth seats. And you know, you sat kind of lower, and I had a lot more headroom in that. As a goofy tall dude with a long torso, I had so much more headroom. I could totally like wear a helmet in this thing on track and not have to like lean back really far or anything. Like, this thing has so much headroom, which was amazing, which is tough for guys like me. These new seats, you lose a little bit of headroom, like a lot of headroom. Like, if I were to have a helmet on in this on the track, you know, I'd have to lean back quite a bit or seek aftermarket options, and that would suck. But otherwise, these seats are nice. You know, they've got really great bolstering. They look cool. The N in the middle lights up, which I think is a fun touch. You know, they're cool. This guy let me by. Oh wow. Okay. Give him a wave. Thank you very much, sir. Wasn't expecting him to. I wasn't really coming up on him too close, but hey, whatever. Anyway, yeah, so I don't like that. Again, the seats, they're cool, they're comfortable, they hold you in well, but you lose some headroom. I'm not too keen on that. Other things I don't like. Let's see. The burble, popple, crackle noises, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, they do get a little annoying after a while. I tend to keep them off when I'm just driving around the street because you really do look like a total knob. So there's that. The DCT does not have nearly as many. I think just because like the tuning with how it bolts up to the DCT transmission, you know, you really can't. So you know, if you're more of a fan of being, I should say, if you're more of a fan of I was gonna say if you're a fan of being in traffic, but no, if you're a fan of like making your life as pain-free as possible in traffic, and you want super fast shifts, and also you want to avoid the burble and crackle, get the DCT. Albeit the DCT costs a couple grand more. Understandable, and it is a good gearbox too. Gosh, what else to say about this thing? Let's see. Clutch take-up is good. You You know, it's a nice uniform feel. It's a little hard to figure out the take up at first, but whatever, it's not bad. You figure it out pretty quick. The shifter feel is very nice. Yeah, gosh, I really can't think of anything else that I can talk negatively about, or things that I wish were better. Like I said a little bit earlier, the old infotainment system was a little bit easier to navigate, but this one takes a little bit more getting used to, but once you're used to it, it's fine. Sound system is very, sound system is very good too. Ooh, Lotus, nice. Lotus Evora, you don't see those very often up here. Yeah, look at this, look at all this grip. Oh, that's so fun. Yeah, I think that does it for negative, I don't know, negative things about the Veloster N, and they're not even applicable to every body type out there, so grand conclusion, Veloster N is a great car. So much fun, so much torque, so much personality. You can hear the bumpy road in my voice. You know, grips like the Dickens, looks fun. Good gas mileage too. I've averaged decent gas mileage in my 4 or 5 days so far with it. Yeah, I don't know. I thought I had maybe some more things to say, but no, it's just an all-around fun car. Yeah. Can't speak highly enough about it. Of course, the Civic Type R is also a super fun car, but man, those things are expensive. That front end is insane. You do feel that like insane grip and feel, but you know, is it worth the like something like, I want to say at least 3 or 4 grand more than this? I don't know. It's up to the eye of the beholder, I suppose. So with that, thank you so much for watching. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the views and the time. How did I do? Did I sound awkward? Did I speak too fast? Did I speak too slow? Do you hate my voice? I hate my voice, but you know, whatever. If you're okay with it, then I guess, hey, keep watching. I hope to have some really fun stuff in the future, not just, you know, a Mercedes, a BMW, and then a month and a half later. Actually, the Mercedes, it was like almost a year, and then the BMW, and now a few months later of Veloster, and hopefully I'll have some more fun stuff. I review a lot of cars, but I don't film them all, and I'm hoping to do a little bit more filming for my own channel. So anyway, stay tuned, like, and of course, please subscribe, and thanks very much again. I'll catch you